Make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notifications so you don't miss future videos just like this. Hey guys, welcome back to Phones, Drones, and Tech. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Apple TV 4K. Now just a standard disclaimer, this is probably the most expensive stream box on the market right now. The base price is coming in at $179.99. Now you can get a bigger storage. Now currently there's only two variants of this. You have the 32 gig version and then you have the 64 gig version. Now if $179 is a little bit more than you're looking to spend, I would suggest checking out my video on the Roku 4K Stream Stick, as it's going to be a cheaper option, and it was sub $50 when I first purchased it. Now I think it's about $68, but still a great buy nonetheless, and it will still deliver you quality stream content on the mainstream. Now back to the Apple TV 4K, let's go ahead and unbox this. Now inside the box you're going to get the Apple TV, you're going to get a remote, and a power cord as well. Now if you already don't have it, you're going to need to get yourself a 4K capable HDMI cord. Devices like the Amazon or the Roku really don't need it because they plug directly into the back of the TV, so you don't need to buy an additional cord. With the Apple TV, you're definitely going to need one. Now, this year's Apple TV is pretty much basically the same as the previous generations. I'm gonna go ahead and get this wrapping off of here. But you can see the design of the Apple TV is relatively unchanged. On the back side of the device, you're gonna have your power input, your HDMI inputs, and then also if you want to use Ethernet, that is an option. You'll notice there is no longer an inclusion of the USB-C port. And if we look directly at the bottom of the device, you're going to notice that there are fans here now, or a vent for a fan, because again, with this run-in 4K content, it's going to get much hotter, and that heat's going to need to go somewhere. This is something that the 4th generation model didn't really need to worry about. You're now going to notice that the remote looks a little bit different than the 4th generation remote, because we now have a white ring around the outside of the menu button. Not only is there a white ring sort of raised off the edge there. We're getting the A10X Fusion chip. That's the same chipset that was located in the iPad 10.5 Pro. So now that we've got the TV unboxed and it's ready to basically be hooked up, let's go ahead and get it hooked up and walk through the settings. Everything's downloaded, updated. It didn't take very long. I really like iOS's whole deal with restoring applications from a backup. I like that because often I'll buy a new Amazon TV or a Roku to test and it doesn't always restore. Let me take that back. Actually, Roku does restore things to a certain extent, and Amazon sort of does, but I still think Apple is the king of restoration when it comes to setting up a new device. But what I really like about this interface is that everything is running at 60 frames per second in 4K, which is pretty smooth. I mean, you really can't notice any lag on the screen here, and it looks nice. Everything is nice, crisp, and sharp. The colors are vibrant. It looks great. Now this is not a HDR TV, but if I did have HDR, I would be able to view some content in HDR. I'm gonna go ahead and click on YouTube. Now, one of the bummers with YouTube is that the content is only streaming at 1080p, but the Apple TV is gonna automatically upscale
back to YouTube Rewind
to 4K.
Special guest with us. Okay, Layla and Liza, tell me about 2017.
So it will upscale to 4K, but it doesn't natively play 4K. Like if I looked at this application on the Roku, I can look at people's channels and it would display whether or not something was in 4K, which is a huge, huge bummer. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how fast Netflix loads up, because I know how fast the Roku loaded things. And the Roku is pretty solid with loading up 4K, but it did have some issues. So here's all the 4K listings right up here. And let's go ahead and find, what, Pee-wee's back? No way. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and find, what was I already watching? I feel like I was watching a lot, so let's go back. Spotlight, trending. Ah, there it is, The Punisher. Let's go ahead and load up The Punisher really quick. If you haven't already seen this show, you're missing out. Freaking phenomenal show. I just want to see how it looks in 4K on the Apple TV with HDR. So anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I didn't want to really do a full review because there's so many reviews out here on YouTube for this particular set-top box. It's just my opinion that I think this right now could possibly be the best streaming device on the market right now. Again, it is pricey, but you get what you pay for, and you're going to get support for up to 2 years at least anytime you purchase any Apple product. Not only that, brands tend to gravitate more towards Apple, and you're going to see content that isn't normally available elsewhere, and I really haven't heard any more talks of any other Android set-top boxes other than some really cheap and janky forks that are on Amazon for really cheap. I think this is the best way to go. This content, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, and if you didn't, use that other button. That works just fine as well. I'm Original Dobo. We'll catch you next time. See ya.